If you're a fan of 1980s action films like RoboCop, The Running Man, and Predator, and you're also an arcade junkie, then no doubt you've heard of Smash TV. Released by Williams and Midway, having been designed by Eugene Jarvis, best known for his other hits like Defender, Robotron 2084, and Narc, the game has become a cult icon of the arcade scene, and it was heavily influenced by two of the films I mentioned earlier.
Only in a rerun.
The Running Man, originally a book by Stephen King, but perhaps best known for its film adaptation starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson, presented a not-so-distant future where televised manhunts for sport are primetime entertainment. The movie is cheesy but in that lovable way and has found itself immortalized on the internet, whether for amazing Arnold quotes like "Here's your Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero," or the incredibly gruesome violence throughout the film. The RoboCop influence for sure shines through like you wouldn't believe with a straight-up line steal in the "I'd buy that for $1" from the game's announcer,
"I'd buy that for $1."
all the way to combined half-man, half-machine boss fights. Smash TV takes all of this and runs with it. The multiplayer game pits two competitors against waves of enemies they must slaughter in hopes of winning their freedom. Along the way, they collect game show-style prizes in the form of giant televisions and all the way to the extreme like a year's supply of good meat. The game isn't remembered fondly just because of its over-the-top world building, but because it's a fantastic co-op experience that keeps players on their toes. But with every king comes a pretender to the throne. That brings us to the subject of today's episode of Push Start Quick Hits. Nitroball, also known as Gunball, is a bit of a mystery to me. I had never heard of it until looking for something to play a couple weeks ago and stumbled upon it in a list of Data East arcade classics. It happens, but it's not that often that a game released by a major developer and publisher of arcade games has completely eluded me. In doing research for this video, I still didn't find too much more out about the game. I can't find a single image of the physical arcade cabinet. I looked through eBay sold listings, various video game databases online, and still found absolutely nothing. There's a few reviews of the game out there, but that mostly seems to be because the game was put out on the Nintendo Switch as part of the Johnny Turbo series of Data East arcade classic reissues. Even pretty niche games get some sort of decent write-up on places like the Giant Bomb Wiki, but Nitroball has seemingly eluded all of us for the most part. So what exactly is it? Essentially, it's Smash TV mixed with pinball. That was enough for me to clear out time in my schedule to play the thing to completion. Unfortunately, what I got wasn't exactly what I had hoped for. Yes, it does have a pinball element, and at times your character does turn into a ball and gets bumped around the screen trying to knock down typical pinball obstacles, but let me tell you, trying to play even this rough approximation of pinball physics with a joystick is like pulling teeth. It's not often that I feel like I'm actually fighting with the game's controls, but Nitroball had that in spades. It was a struggle anytime the pinball portions popped up. Unfortunately, to be even more honest, the game generally doesn't control well at all. The playing field is very narrow at times, and the game has a shmup-style bullet-dodging trope that its enemies employ, making it very hard to dodge. There's really no other way to look at it. The game is straight up a shameless Smash TV ripoff. It has its own announcer and very similar prizes as point-collecting tools. The levels are varied though as you fight your way through a football field, alien ship, city street, and more. There's a few types of weapons at your disposal, but ultimately it doesn't feel like it matters all that much. The bombs though definitely help clear your way as you can be easily overrun with multiple enemies all honing in on you. That being said, despite my issues with the game as plentiful as they are, I walked away from my sub 20-minute playthrough of the game not feeling like I wasted my time. Sure, the game isn't good, but it's so bizarre that it makes up for it. It's a relic of an era where people were trying crazy things with arcade game development. If I ever actually cross paths with a physical Nitroball cabinet, I'd absolutely hop on it and pump a few quarters in. All in all, if you're looking for something on the weird side and you're willing to put up with very frustrating controls, I'd give it a shot. I still don't think it's a waste of time. It is a flawed game for sure, but sometimes we're willing to put up with flaws to play an interesting concept. And And that's it for this episode of Push Start Quick Hits, where we took a brief look at Nitroball. If you've ever played this game before, leave a comment below with your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear from somebody else that's experienced this game. We'll see you next time.